Breaking news today. After the Ukrainian raid on Belgorod, the Russians set about cleaning up the mess. It has been reported that Russian nationals from the Liberty of Russia Legion and the Russian Volunteer Corps have crossed into Belarus from Russia's Belgorod region. Cross-border raiders, who have been called both armed Russian opposition groups and Ukrainian saboteurs, entered Russia from Ukraine in one of the most audacious attacks on Russian territory since the Kremlin's war on Kyiv began 15 months ago, and Russian forces are still engaged in operations against them. On Tuesday, Vyacheslav Gladkov, governor of Russia's Belgorod region, said that a counter-terrorism operation was ongoing against a Ukrainian sabotage group that had crossed into Russia's Gravoron district on the border with Ukraine. To those who had to flee Gravoron, the governor had bad news. It was not possible to return yet to their homes. Using the Telegram messaging service, he updated people on the situation in the Gravoron district, saying, "On the situation in the Gravoron district. The cleaning of the territory by the Ministry of Defense together with law enforcement agencies continues." He also noted that Russian forces have been unable to reach a woman who was killed and 2 others who were injured. On Monday, Ukrainian news outlet Hromadski reported, citing Ukrainian military intelligence sources, that the attack on the Belgorod region was carried out by 2 armed Russian opposition groups comprised of Russian citizens, the Liberty of Russia Legion and the Russian Volunteer Corps, RVC. Their affiliations with the Ukrainian military, if any, remain a mystery. The RVC formed in August of last year, and it is widely believed to be made up of anti-Putin Russian far-right fighters who are connected to Ukrainian far-right groups. Andriy Cherniak, a representative of Ukraine's intelligence services, also claimed that individuals from Russia were responsible for the attack across the border. Mikhailo Podolyak, an advisor to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, tweeted that Ukraine had nothing to do with it, implying that a armed guerrilla movement had emerged to oppose a totalitarian country. Ukraine, he said, is studying the unfolding events in Russia's Belgorod region with great interest. Buildings housing Russia's Interior Ministry and the FSB security service reportedly came under attack in the region's main town, also known as Belgorod, according to Telegram channels monitoring Russia's military activity, such as the blog Rybar with more than 1 million subscribers. The RVC claimed late Monday that they had video of a fighter examining a captured Russian armored vehicle, and they released it on their Telegram social media channel. Another video purported to be of Russian territory showed armed men driving an armored vehicle through rural areas. Images and videos of what were claimed to be captured Russian service members, along with identification documents, were shared on Russian and Ukrainian social media. The Institute for the Study of War in Washington, D.C., reported on Tuesday that, according to Russian sources, 2 all-Russian pro-Ukrainian groups had crossed the border with tanks, armored personnel carriers, and other armored vehicles. Wagner mercenary force boss Yevgeny Prigozhin blamed Russia's Ministry of Defense for being unable to defend the country's borders, while some military bloggers were fixated on the fact that the invading units were comprised of mostly Russians, leading some to label them traitors to Russia, as reported by the ISW. After hearing about the cross-border attack, Russian information space reacted with a similar degree of panic, factionalism, and incoherence, as the ISW put it. State-run RIA Novosti reported on Monday that Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said work was underway to expel the saboteurs, after informing Russian President Vladimir Putin. He claimed that action was being taken to push them out of Russian territory and liquidate them. According to Peskov, Ukraine took this step in an effort to deflect attention away from the battle for the eastern city of Bakhmut, which Moscow claims to have captured after months of fighting. Kyiv, however, insists that it is still engaged in this battle. An advisor to Ukraine's interior minister, Anton Gerashenko, shared several social media videos about the attacks and the groups involved in the incursion, including one that purportedly showed a Freedom of Russia Legion flag attached to balloons and reportedly flying over Moscow.